Hello everyone, TUMNAD is my name. In today's video, we are going to be looking at what we call gastric secretion, mainly focusing on what we call the cephalic phase. If you find it helpful at the end of it all, please make sure you like the video, comment down in the comment section, and then subscribe. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, in the previous videos, we have been looking at what we call the introductory part of what we call the gastric secretions, whereby we looked at what we call the outline of the phases, where we had the cephalic, gastric, and then intestinal phase of gastric secretions. We also looked at the components of the gastric secretions. For example, we had hydrochloric acid, the intrinsic factor, the gastric lipase, the pepsinogen, the bicarbonate, the water, and the different electrolytes, all being contained in what we call the gastric secretion. We went ahead and looked at a couple of different cells which are going to be involved in the secretion of what we call the gastric juice, and even also producing different hormones that are going to be running other kind of phases of gastric secretion, especially what we call the gastric and then intestinal phase. In this video, we are starting off with the first phase of gastric secretion, which is what we call the cephalic phase. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, in the start of the cephalic phase, we are going to be following these kind of objectives. We shall look at the overview of the cephalic phase. We look at the stimuli of what we call the cephalic phase, and even also the inhibitory factors of the cephalic phase. Okay. Now, first, we need to first understand what is going to be the cephalic phase of gastric secretion. Now, this phase of gastric secretion is going to be accounting for approximately 1/3 of the gastric juice within the stomach. Okay. So it is accounting for 1/3 of the gastric juice within the stomach. Okay, and this phase is happening even when there is no food in the stomach. Okay, so now in this phase there is no food in the stomach. Okay, there is no food in the stomach. That is something which is very, very, very important. In other words, this is going to be a preparatory phase of gastric secretion. No food in the stomach, but the stomach is producing the gastric juice. And then another important thing is that the main cranial nerve, which is going to be running the whole of this process, leading into the production of the gastric juice, is going to be cranial nerve number 10, and that is the vagus nerve. Okay, so now the main important nerve in this cephalic phase is going to be what we call the vagus nerve. Okay. Now, we need now to go and see what are going to be those stimuli that are going to be leading to the production of the gastric juice during the cephalic phase. The first one, which is super very important, is sight of food. When you just look at the food, the information hits the retina, it's taken to the central nervous system, to the brain, to different cortex, and then from there, the information is relayed to what we call the hypothalamus, and then finally the hypothalamus will send down the axons to what we call the dorsal nucleus vagus, which will activate the vagus nerve to come out and then stimulate different cells within the gastric wall, leading to what we call the gastric secretion. Okay, so now the first one, which is super very important, is going to be what we call the sight of food. Okay, and then another one is going to be smell of food. Okay, it's going to be what we call the smell of food. Another one is what we call just tasting the food. Okay, what we call the taste of food. Another one is just thinking about food. Okay, when you just think about food, that is enough for the gastric secretion to be released. Okay, so now that is what we call the thought of food. Another kind of the mechanism is also what we call the chewing process. Now, when you chew, now that kind of the chewing process, to a less extent, is going to be also activating what we call the vagus nerve, which can also start the process of gastric secretion. Okay, so now also we shall have what we call the chewing can also lead into gastric secretions. Besides that, we also have what we call frying sound. You know, when you have ever had someone who is frying, when that oil, when onions or even other kind of substances like tomatoes, when they land into what we call the oil, there's that kind of the sizzling of the oil. Okay, that sizzling of the oil is enough to activate what we call the vagus nerve, leading into gastric secretions. So we call that one as a frying sound. Okay, we call that one as frying sound. Now, when we come over here on this diagram illustration, this is going to be the cerebrum, and this one here, these are going to be the gray matter of different portions of what we call the cerebrum. So now they are going to be what we call the cerebral cortex. Okay, they are what we call the cerebral cortex. Okay, so now the information from what we call the eye has to come and hit this kind of the different cerebral cortex, and then from there the information from all these kind of the cortex is going to be related to this structure here, which we call the hypothalamus. So now this structure here is what we call the hypothalamus. Okay, and of course the hypothalamus is the main regulator of what we call the autonomic nervous system. Okay, and then from there, we are going to be having now, after these kind of the axons come from the different cortex, the different cortex are going to be activating a very important portion of the hypothalamus, which is going to be what we call the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, now from there, we shall have what we call the descending axons, which are going to be moving down to the brainstem, mainly on this kind of the portion which we are calling the medulla oblongata, from where we have this kind of the nucleus, which we call the dorsal nucleus vagus. Okay, so now this kind of the nucleus here is what we call the dorsal nucleus vagus. And then from there, we are going to be having now the motor fibers, the efferent fibers of vagus nerve going to be leaving this kind of the nucleus. They will pass through what we call the jugular foramen, and the mint comes out. Okay, so now we are going to be having now we are now going to be having what we call the vagus nerve coming off. Okay, now when this vagus nerve comes off, it's now going to be now activating all the different portions of what we call the stomach. Okay, it's going to be activating all different portions of what we call the stomach. Okay, now the stomachal wall is going to be designed with specific type of cells that are going to be super very important in the production of what we call the gastric juice. We have these cells here, this one here, we may call them what we call the parietal cells, and even those ones here, let me say we are calling them what we call the chief cells. Now, once this vagus now comes over here, releases what we call the acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is going to come and bind on their specific receptors, what you call the muscarinic type 3 receptors, on these kind of the chief cells, the parietal cells, leading to the production of the gastric juice. Now, for example, the parietal cells are going to be producing what we call the hydrochloric. We're going to be producing what we call the hydrochloric acid, and even also what we call the intrinsic factor. Okay, and then for the case of the chief cells, they are going to be producing what we call the pepsinogen, which can get further converted into what we call pepsin after being converted into an active form, and even also what we call the gastric lipase. Okay, the gastric lipase. So now that's how generally this kind of the vagus nerve is going to be activating all these cells, leading to the production of this kind of gastric secretions. Okay, now to sum it up is that all these kind of the stimuli, they are going to be activating different portions within the cortex. From there, the information will be related to what we call the hypothalamus, specifically on the parasympathetic nervous system portion, which will give off the descending axons down to what we call the dorsal nucleus vagus, which will activate the vagus nerve that will come out and then activate the different cells within the walls of the stomach, leading into production of what we call the gastric acid. Okay. All right, so now having seen now the stimulatory factors of gastric secretion during the cephalic phase, what is going to be the inhibitory factors of what we call the gastric secretion during the cephalic phase? Now, it is very simple. Anything that activates sympathetic nervous system automatically will block the effects of what we call the vagus nerve. Okay, so now here we are going to be seeing that anything that activate sympathetic nervous system is all enough to block the secretion of the gastric juice. Now, the question is, where do we find sympathetic nervous system? Now, this one here is going to be what we call the spinal cord, and we say that on the spinal cord we have what we call T1 up to what we call the L2, which we called the thoracolumbar region. Okay, from there we had what we call the preganglionic motor fibers that was coming from what we call the thoracolumbar region. They were coming all from all these areas, become part of what we call the greater splanchnic nerve, of which was coming and then start now supplying all the areas of what we call the stomach. Now, this kind of the activation of what we call the sympathetic nervous system is going to be inhibiting all the activities which are going to be done by what we call the vagus nerve. Once you block a vagus nerve, we shall have no release of acetylcholine, we shall have no stimulation on what we call the chief cells, parietal cells. Okay? And now, what are some of those kind of the events that are going to be seen during activation of the sympathetic nervous system? The first one is what we call stress. Okay, what we call stress. Some other people may call it the fear. Okay, even we have what we call depression. And then another one is what we call unpleasant smell. You know, when you smell something which is very, very, very having unpleasant odor, that one is enough to block any kind of sensation of feeling like eating. And in that way, gastric secretion is going to be inhibited. So now, if you think whatever I've talked is making sense, is adding to you, you are benefiting, please hit the like button, comment down in the comment section, and then subscribe. So now, in the next video, we are going to be now looking at what we call the gastric phase of gastric secretions. Okay, thank you very much for watching. As always, until we meet next time.